Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Faith in Whatever podcast. I'm Josh Carmen, moderator extraordinaire. I can be found on Twitter at Josh_Carmen. I'm joined today with our other faith guys, James Yule and Garrett Gerhart. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hi, my name is Garrett. That's me talking. You can find me on Twitter at TStudentLife. James, now you're up.
This is James talking now. You can find me on Twitter at James Yule. That's Yuile. No spaces, no dots.
You know, that's still as terrible as it was last week.
It's a misery.
So we're recording here out of Marion Ranch Records in Southern California, and you can actually, we do have a new Twitter up for our actual Faith in Whatever podcast. You can find that at Faith, the letter in whatever. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/faith in whatever. And then lastly, you can find us on YouTube by going to the search bar and entering Faith in Whatever podcast. And so we're really excited about the show today. We've got a lot of good stuff that we're going to be going over, including we just got our first email ever from a
friend
viewer,
of the podcast.
Yeah, a friend of our show.
Awesome.
Asking us to discuss a pretty heavy topic. And so...
Yeah, it's pretty much a dismal topic
Yeah,
that's going to bring down your whole week.
Apparently, we just love talking about.
It was not the
Really
softball
terrible
that we were hoping for to get our first to kind of get our first thing going.
I was really hoping for like favorite T-shirts.
But-
at least a Deadpool question or something.
Right.
So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to start the show today. I'm going to tell you guys some excellent puns because I feel like they're just, with how weighty and heavy the topics are going to be coming through this whole episode, it's just better to, have a little bit of stuff to lighten the mood.
It's a good call.
So, quick question. What's blue and smells like red paint? Blue paint?
It's not a pun.
That's a pun? You're a jerk. Why can't the T-Rex clap, Chris?
I don't know why.
Because he's dead.
Not a pun.
Yeah, okay.
You know what a pun is.
What leaves a bigger memory than a passionate kiss?
Something that's not a pun.
A stab wound.
Those are funny, though.
And what did Batman say to Robin before they got in the car?
Robin, get in the car.
Okay. You knew that one. Way to steal my thunder.
Screen cheat.
Thunder stealer. So there's a lot of kids in our youth group who love to tell awful, like, those are basically anti-jokes, right?
Anti-jokes, for sure.
And they have a really good one. It's, how do you keep Sally from riding? You cut off her hands. Okay? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not Sally. Because you cut off her hands. Yeah, that's it.
It's funny. No, it's funny. It's just you can't laugh at anti-jokes or you look like a terrible person.
Okay. So I'm glad we've kind of set out this lighthearted tone for the show because we're really going to take that energy and carry it through the rest of this podcast.
So lighthearted. Dismembering
Can't wait to laugh at all the other dismal things coming.
So, all right. So, James, why don't you tell us what you've been up to this week and how you've been wasting your time?
Wow. Well, now to bring down the podcast as hard as I possibly can. So I've heard from other podcasts that I listen to about video games about this game called That Dragon Cancer. And
Dragon cancer?
That Dragon, Cancer. And
Is that his name? Cancer?
No. So
Like
you
cancer's like
should
a
hear about the game
abysmal
before we
dragon.
make fun of it. So it was made by a husband and wife.
I don't need to know anything to make fun of it.
It was made by a husband and wife and a whole team around them who her son was dying of cancer while they made the game. And to help them process this experience and to sort of, work through it, they started making this game. He did pass away before the game was finished. And then that fact of life made its way into the game as well. And it is crushing. I mean, I told Josh before I played, I was like, I'm going to play this game to talk about it on the podcast, but it's going to make me cry a lot. Like, it's going to be so bad. But I had no idea what I was in for, because not only is it a very raw look process of what it's like to have a very young child dying in your family. But what I didn't know was coming, because one of the podcasts warned me, was that these are two Christian people, and the game actually infuses their Christian walk through this process. For the wife, it was very fortifying for her. I've not finished the game yet, but so far in the game, her faith was very fortifying. It gave her this absolute belief that before Joel, the child, dies, that there would be a miracle, that he would be saved, which of course we know from outside the game that doesn't happen. So I wonder what's going to happen in the game. For the father, it made him feel like he was drowning, that his faith was drowning, his perceptions of God were drowning, that he was hopeless and that the situation was hopeless. And there'll be these moments in the game where they'll actually tie into the game prayers that they prayed, or actual there's a scene where the mother's holding the child. It's really solemn, and she's just hymning a Christian hymn that I recognized, and it totally oh my gosh. There was a few times when I had to pause the game, cry for like 5 minutes, and then breathe.
Wow.
And then start playing it again.
God, what a downer.
That sounds more depressing than the end of Mass Effect.
Oh. Thanks, Chris. Thank you so much.
So is this a real life analog where you're playing the parents of a child?
Don't think of like a standard video game where you're walking, hopping, attacking, or anything like that. Think of it as like being led through almost a dream-like experience, where there's times when you have great control, and then there's times when that control is taken from you, and you're only an observer. And it's very dreamlike. That's the best way to explain it. And
Similar to Life Seems Strange.
No, this would be more stylistic than Life is Strange. But the give you an example. There's a scene where it kind of fades into the hospital room. The mother is humming that hymn I was talking about, and she's talking about what the child's handprints, and you can see, like, you kind of can be a fly on the wall sort of thing, like wander around the room, and you can go look at the handprints, and then you see all these other handprints of other children who were in that room as well before them, and then you turn away from the handprints, and all of a sudden the family is gone. You're emptying the room, and all that's left are these cards, like get well type cards, and you can pick them up and read them. And the first one is for Joel, if I remember correctly, the boy of the game. And then there's 3 more. Like, they're kind of leading almost like a bread trail. And you're like, I'll read these other 3, and it's for these other kids, real people, writing notes to family members who passed on from cancer. And then you're like, oh, there's a bread trail here. And then you turn more in the room, and suddenly there's all these other cards. And if you stop to read them, you read them. And then you leave the room, and then the entire hospital is filled with all these cards written by real people who have lost family members and friends to cancer. And it's just that moment when you leave that room, and then you see hundreds and hundreds of cards. It's just heartbreaking.
So is that on console or on Steam, or where can people find that?
It's on Steam. That's where I'm playing it. You can use a controller, which I always appreciate with some games. And I'm using an Xbox One controller. And I hear it's on Ouya as well, but who owns a Ouya? You're going to find it on Steam, most likely.
I mean, it actually sounds really beautiful.
Depressing.
No, it sounds really beautiful.
Depressing.
In a sense of taking traditional video game entertainment and possibly doing something more artistic and more meaningful with it.
Right. And
Have you been doing this all week?
That's the only game I've played all week.
How long is it? Do you know?
It's probably a few hours. I think I'm about 2 hours in. It's a game you don't play quickly. You don't play to get to the end. You sort of observe every scene you enter into, and it's been quite a time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, you will have to keep us updated on that as we continue to make our journey through our podcasting series, and let us know kind of how it turns out. That's a really good idea. So hopefully trying to bring back the spirit a little bit here. Garrett, what have you been up to?
Well, I don't know how exciting you find biblical peacemaking, but that's what I'm doing. No, I'm in a conflict resolution class, so that argument that we had earlier, I'll handle that. Just kidding. So, entertainment side, I have been enjoying X-Files Season 10. Do you know anything about that?
And I was way too young for
I
X-Files.
have questions for you about that.
Okay.
So I watched X-Files off and on, original X-Files.
Uh-huh.
I have had no interest in watching the new season. Should I be interested?
Well, I probably X-Files came out in '93, so I was 10 years old. So I was scared to death of watching X-Files. So I've probably seen maybe 10 episodes of the original and one of the movies. and I always, I won't say always enjoying them. When I wasn't terrified, I find myself enjoying them. So then I hear that I just like reboots. I don't know why. Like I just like to criticize them or enjoy them. It doesn't matter. Either one is fine. So I heard X-Files is coming out, and it's only 6 episodes for season 10.
They really believe in this product.
Well, it's already been picked up supposedly for a second full run, or not second, 11th full run. I guess this was I guess you can call it a mini series, but they're just testing the waters, right? I mean,
Right,
maybe
for sure.
Maybe David Duchovny's a little expensive, so let's just go with 6 episodes. You know, I'm not
because
really
his
sure.
career's been on a real boom after the original one.
Oh, those dog commercials, you know, dog food or whatever.
That's right. So, should you be interested? It reminds me so much of the first 9 seasons. It's kind of weird to see the exact same premise and style and speed of a show in 2016.
Right.
There's so many slow arguments between Mulder and Scully.
Well, and they're
It's
keeping
like,
it a little bit fun too.
There was an episode that was episode 3. Did you see that one?
With the lizard man.
Yeah.
With Reese Darby.
That was excellent.
That was so funny.
It was one of the most
It was
it was
great.
the
Reese
funniest
Darby
TV
was-
shows I've seen in a long time.
He plays like a were-lizard. He plays a lizard that gets bit by a man.
Correct.
And so he transforms into a man.
Yeah. It's so confusing because he's like, tell me how it started. He's like, okay, and he tells about how he was just a lizard man running around the woods, and a guy bit him, and next thing you know, he turned into a guy with the desire to get a job and put on clothes. So it's really good. It's
That
really
doesn't
good.
sound horrifying at all.
No,
it sounds
it's
like
a
you
lot of
really had
fun.
an improvement.
Yeah.
Well, that one was the whole episode was just funny, and
Okay.
and I don't know if they used to do that back in the day, like break the boring with a really funny episode, but that's what they did. So that was good, and I'm on episode 4, so.
Every photo I see of the new season, because there's a certain website that I frequent, and they keep throwing up photos of this new season, it's always a photo of 2 people awkwardly standing. Is
a
that
hallway?
what the show
That's
is
like
so far?
90% of X-Files.
Yeah, in a crime scene with something dead or dying in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of it. I think the weirdest part is that David Duchovny hasn't aged a year,
Yeah.
and it just looks so bizarre. It's like almost they transported him. It's really good. That's what you should give it a try.
Okay.
Give it a try.
Okay.
That sounds good. That sounds enjoyable. Okay, so I myself have been on this mission, this very, very intense mission, for about the last, 2.5 years, to become the #1 player in Kim Kardashian Hollywood.
Yeah,
And
I know.
Why?
So it started as
I
a
don't know what
joke.
that is.
Reasons
and
not to like Josh that much.
It's a video game for your iPhone that you can play. And it's
What do you
like you start off as like an E-lister, right? You're not popular. Nobody cares about you. You work at some, crummy store in downtown LA, whatever.
Josh will come to my house, sit on my couch, and play this in front of me for like 30 minutes.
Well, I'm waiting for you to set stuff up. Yeah. And so it's a game where you just check in once or twice a day, right? And then you spend all your energy points performing some menial task, right? Maybe you're modeling something on a fashion runway or you're owning a store. I've got homes in like Malibu, LA, Hollywood, Tokyo, all over the place. And I am officially up to number 4 in this game. Now,
In
I
the
don't
world.
Number 4 in the world.
I don't think it's with everybody in the world, right? I think you're on your own ranking system.
I think there's only 4 people playing.
And
Number 4, like compared to who? I mean, your own ranking system.
like each person who downloads the game has their own. It's like your
It's
own.
probably
video
your own
game.
server.
Yeah, it's like your own server to beat, right? And so
Of a few hundred people.
But
Got it.
that also is to say the ranking system in my server in my game starts at like 600 and something there. So I have been climbing the ranks, and the reason why it's taken 2.5 years is because I've not spent a single penny on this game. So this is like Clash of Clans, another game I'm a huge fan of.
He's been playing this for years.
yeah, hold on. Let me get this straight. So you're currently working on your master's thesis,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
when I say working on, you could be working on your
Yeah,
master's
no,
thesis,
I am,
but
I
instead
am.
you're playing a Kim Kardashian iPhone game.
Right, but it's only
Okay.
like those games where you check in like twice, maybe 4 or 5 times a day.
There are professors slapping
plus-
their faces right now.
Plus Clash of Clans. How much
Yeah.
you check that?
Yeah, same, like
Okay.
4 to 7 or 8 times a day. And then as you play, right, you level up, you become better. But James kind of pointed out something that made me feel pretty bad about myself, was this idea of
Okay.
like the games that are to the pay to win, right? So if you spend actual money on it. And so I'm thinking about how I've invested literally all this time that I'll never be able to get back. And I'll never be able to be the best at any of them because I don't spend, top. I've read reports. I don't know if they're true or not, right? Because it's on the interwebs. But on like the top Clash of Clan guys in the world spend like $7,000 a month on the game.
What?
And obviously they're sponsored.
I kinda
or whatever.
believe it,
And
right?
so it's like, I don't know if that's true, but even if
It
the
is
number-
true.
even if the number's like remotely close to that, I think I've spent like an iTunes gift card on it once, and so it's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of depressing.
That's actually been the great video game discovery of the last 5 or so years, is that they don't need to charge for video games. They need to give a few people a good reason to spend lots of money on them. And that's driving a lot of these phone games.
Hopefully, like this podcast.
Yeah. So what we need to do is give a few people real good reason to spend a lot of money on us.
So if you want to continue to make fun of the different things that we like to enjoy, feel free to subscribe and send us a check.
Or just subscribe and comment.
Those work too, but checks are always good.
Do this one.
And so that's really what I've been up to. It's been a lot of fun. We've been playing through the Uncharted trilogy together, and I don't know anything about that game other than the guy's name is Nathan Drake, and he refuses to die.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's just a one player, right? No! You guys just switch off.
Yeah. No, I just play.
I've already beat them.
So you watch, yeah.
Yeah.
So
great game.
that's fun. That's a little bit less degrading.
Did you do the
to admit to?
Yeah.
Did you do the coming out of the airplane like the boxes?
Not yet. Okay. You can't spoil it.
Anyway, what have you been up to, Chris?
I absorb all kinds of media. So I've been watching any TV show that's worth watching. I've been playing Ark Survival Evolved and Star Citizen. And I've been recording for an upcoming album that'll be coming out here at Marion Ranch.
What's the album about?
It's going to be a charity benefit. So it's a gospel album, getting together all my musician friends, and we're recording our favorite hymns and gospel songs, and we're going to release it and then donate all the proceeds to charity.
Where can they help contribute to that?
I don't really have any up. I don't have any info on it up yet. So it's still mostly planning stages. I've only recorded 2 artists for it so far. So, but as the project goes on, I'll have more info about it.
We'll keep the friends of the podcast abreast of all that information.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's important. Because we are funny and wild and crazy guys, we do like to support good things as well. So we're going to jump right into our news discussions for the day. I have some fantastic journalistic pieces that I'm super excited to share with you guys today. And this first one, I've been just really itching to get this one ready to go. So I wanted to do, Garrett, you can't look at my computer because you have to be a part of this game.
It's a game, okay.
9 disgusting things you didn't know you've been eating your whole life.
Yes.
So we've recently come to find out that both Garrett and James are like chef foodies and are huge fans.
And you're the antithesis.
It's pretty obvious in the case of one of us.
And yeah, Garrett is just,
So fat Garrett.
Fat Garrett, that's your new nickname.
If I eat bread, I am.
Fat Garrett is your new nickname.
But you're the opposite, which is really funny.
No, I like to cook food. I just don't like to eat vegetables or a lot of fruits.
Or fish.
And, well, some fish. Okay. Some fish is okay, right? Non-fishy fish is good. Salmon's awful. Cod is not a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if jellyfish is a fish, but
that's okay.
That's okay.
Things that taste like nothing are good with you.
Yeah, well, things that don't taste like they've been swimming in their own filth for 10 years.
Josh literally likes rice or bread with steak and cheese.
And a little bit of hot sauce.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's my Chipotle meal. I had Chipotle, by the way, and I ate it all through.
E. coli?
I ate it all through their E. coli outbreak.
Good, E. coli.
And you're fine.
And I didn't get sick one time. So, Chipotle, if you're listening, I'd love for you to be a sponsor of the show.
100%.
Because I have spent so much money at your establishment. It's insane. Insane. So, keeping things going, you can find this article at huffingtonpost.com.
Excellent.
It doesn't tell us who the writer is, so if I find it, I'll link it in the YouTube.
This is going to be quality. I'm excited.
YouTube page.
Love it.
So, if you had to think of like just one of the grossest, most obscure things you could think that you've been eating your whole life, what would it be?
I already know what mine would be.
Okay.
Spiders.
Spiders?
I like most things.
I like spiders.
I was going to say something about bugs, but I just had a bug yesterday. So I'll say something I was surprised to find out is shellac, which was on some candies, and it's a bug secretion.
It's a beetle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like I don't know why they secrete.
Okay, so you guys know a little bit of your stuff. What do you hate to eat, Chris, or what would you be surprised at eating?
I eat pretty much the same way you do.
Yeah, amen.
So,
man, you guys are weird.
yeah.
It's that Carmen gene.
I mean, a lot of the stuff I eat, most people think is disgusting anyway.
Rice, brown rice,
Junk food,
Mustard on pizza.
processed food.
Mustard on pizza? Is that what I just
mustard
said?
on pizza is really good.
Yeah.
Oh, pastrami pizza with mustard. I'd do that.
Yeah.
Mustard on rice is also good.
Chopped up pizza in scrambled eggs.
Also
That's
delicious.
fantastic.
Wow.
You just like take like day old pizza and Mix it in with your scrambled eggs. It's great.
Okay, from now on, you're not going to tell us about what you did this week. You're going to tell us about what you ate.
That might be just as interesting. All right, so the first thing that we come to is beaver anal secretions. All right. Now, this is listed under ingredients as castoreum. Castoreum. All right. And we consume it in vanilla flavored treats.
I couldn't remember if it was raspberry or vanilla.
All right. So even if it says in the article that even if castoreum, a liquid found in castor sacs near a beaver's anus, might not sound tasty, it is widely used as a substitute for vanilla flavoring. And so, Chris, you and I have a really personal stake in this one, a high one at that, because the food that is both of our favorites are the zingers. Right? Those Hostess zingers that have the vanilla stuff in them. Okay. And I don't know if it has castoreum in them, but if it does, I'm still going to eat it.
Yeah, do you care, really? It tastes good.
Yeah, this will not be potassium sorbate.
This will not alter
anal fluids.
This will not alter our eating habits.
California told me everything gives me cancer anyway, so
I might as well enjoy some beaver anus while I'm at it.
I have not seen this ingredient in anything, but I'll look for it.
Yeah, well, now you know. So castoreum or castoreum.
I'll bring it in for us to all deliciously enjoy.
The next one is human hair. A little bit less gross than beaver anus. And we consume human hair in bagels, cakes, and more. Believe it or not, the article says this compound made from human hair and or duck feathers is actually used as a flavor enhancer. L-cysteine is pretty common, so don't be surprised if you've already eaten some today. So L-cysteine.
I've never heard of that. So they're actually harvesting and processing human hair for a flavoring?
That's what the article implies. So we don't need to do our fact checking because we can totally just go with that.
Who cares?
Yeah. Third one is coal tar, listed under ingredients as food coloring.
I think I know which one this is.
So that's kind of gross.
Coal tar.
Fourth one is this one's a little bit more common. I've known this one for a while. Antifreeze. Right? It's listed under ingredients as propylene glycol.
Yeah, it's in Sunny Delight.
And this is why I don't
delight.
have salad dressing, because we typically find it in salad dressing.
Cats love it too.
Antifreeze or propylene glycol.
Don't give it to your cats, by the way.
Unless you want to kill them. Yeah. In that case, totally do it.
Number 5 is flame retardant. Listed under ingredients as brominated vegetable oil, BVO.
You don't want your food to be touched
on
with flames.
fire.
Yeah, so I guess you might as well cook it, but keep it from catching on fire.
If you're ever wondering why your steak will not cook, it might be covered in flame retardant.
It is typically consumed in citrus-flavored soda. The next one, number 6, is biodiesel additive, listed under ingredients as tertiary. I don't know how to quite say that. Tertiary, 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 and then butyl hydroquinone. Or
sounds like they
TBHQ.
tried to get the word beauty queen in there.
This is how Chris and I consume it weekly, is in chicken nuggets.
Oh yeah, I love chicken nuggets.
Yeah, so it's a synthetically created preservative used in everything from bubblegum to nail polish to cheese crackers. Unfortunately, this stuff is so toxic that just 1 gram of it could make you ill.
Oh man, let's get more of
well,
that.
I'm still here, so there must not be very much in
McDonald's chicken nuggets. The 7th one is sand, listed under ingredients as silicone dioxide, found in salts, soups, and more.
It's always in spices.
Yeah,
Keep it from
not too big of a deal.
Apparently not.
This one had me grounded when I found out. Number 8 is jet fuel additive. You see that joke there?
That's excellent.
That was a pun.
That was sort of punny.
Butylated hydroxyethylene. It's in cereal. So that sucks because I really love cereal. Is probably my favorite meal next to ramen to consume. And
That explains why I saw Cheerios going into a air jet one time.
Cheerios.
Lastly, borax. I don't know what that is. It's 20
It's like Ajax, isn't it?
Laundry
Borax?
booster.
It's like a cleaning detergent.
Yeah, that's usually what you use it for.
It's listed under ingredients as E285, and it is found in things. Chris, we're totally safe on this. Caviar. So that doesn't.
All the caviar.
Yeah, can you imagine a jar of caviar, comma E285? I don't know if people who eat caviar would be okay with that.
That sounds terrible. So,
wow.
Just initial reactions. I mean, especially I want to hear kind of quickly from you two foodies, as the saying goes. What do you have to say for yourselves that you guys support an industry that is so okay with reporting awful
Support
foods?
an industry.
How do you rectify that, James?
Almost every food you mentioned, I don't eat regularly, especially when it's
You
my
eat
choice.
chicken nuggets, you liar.
No, not really.
He's lying to you.
Now,
on the podcast.
wait. Let me say this.
All 100 of you that are
Many
watching this, he's lying.
I've liked plenty of chicken nuggets, but chicken nuggets don't like me. Fast food tends to not like me as much as I like it. So I've had to learn what it does. So I usually stay away from
All right, so
stuff
James
that's under
is
$6.
using his Fifth Amendment right to not self-incriminate. There, something that will be gone if Trump gets elected president. I'm just kidding. Garrett, how do you defend yourself, sir?
Yeah, I don't eat processed foods, so I'm okay
why
with
we're
that
foodies.
you guys all eat it. But my beaver anal gland would be freshly harvested by myself if I'm going to
From
eat
the
it.
beaver.
Straight from the beaver. Yeah, I'm kind of a farm to table kind of field to plate kind of guy. So I'd rather eat fresh anal beaver gland. I mean, I wouldn't want to eat them, but I'm just saying. That's how anti-processed food I
Well,
am.
we've learned a little bit more about Garrett. He won't be returning next week or joining us again after
No,
this.
I'm bringing in a
He's not allowed within 50
fresh
yards of
plate of steaming. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to say it.
We better move on before
gotta-
this gets...
So next week we're gonna have lots of chicken nuggets and some
and
beaver
no
anal gland.
and no Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did eat that one.
So how do you
plant.
feel? I wonder how you feel.
Oh, I don't
Because
eat
a lot
any
of
of
the
that
processed
stuff.
foods have all these terrible chemicals, and that's a majority of your diet.
I don't eat chicken nuggets actually. I don't eat too much junk food that much. I just predominantly like survival. Well, I mean, I guess ramen kind of counts as junk food, right? I eat like
Sure.
the quarter or pack ramens, right, that you buy with the beef flavoring with all the delicious MSG.
I'm okay with MSG.
Yeah, so I typically eat that. Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, and In-N-Out. Those are kind of my staple diets. That's kind of how I do my meal prep for the week. I figure out what days of the week I'm going to go eat
I mean,
at
some of
which
those things
restaurant.
could. I mean, you don't get the ingredients for a Chick-fil-A chicken
I do.
sandwich.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I request and
Let's
I
bring
make
them
sure
in and
there's-
see how many unpronounceable food items are in that.
Okay, but as long as it's off that list, I don't really care.
There could be 9 other ones because they didn't mention beetle secretions and that.
Well,
seems a
here's
little
the
weird.
deal. We've been eating this way since before forever, and we've had zero health problems. Doctor said we're totally
clearly.
good.
Yeah, we've all had zero health problems.
And Chris has been strong
Coming soon.
as an ox. There, that's kind of funny if you get it. If you don't, whatever. That's funny to me. And so we've got that going for us, which is pretty good. But I'm kind of convinced that your genetics play a bigger role in that than everything else, right? I'm going to live to be 95.
I just don't know how that can be true when we eat so many food additives all day long. I just don't know how it can't have.
I
an
drink
effect.
salt, and I just went to the doctor, and they told me I have low sodium.
Low sodium.
Low sodium. They say I need to eat more salt.
Sounds like you have a terrible doctor.
They can test your sodium levels and tell
From
you
blood
eat-
test, yeah.
And you eat top ramen every day.
Every day.
That guy is wrong.
Okay, so my blood work got mixed with
Dr.
somebody
Williams,
else's.
whatever his name is, you're wrong.
I don't know his name.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Yeah, it's from the
Was
Kaiser
this in a
Plan.
white van somewhere?
Dr. Nick.
Hi, everybody.
Zoidberg.
Inflammable means flammable. So there's that.
I
Next,
think we'll talk about more about food on this show. I'm really excited about it.
I'm pretty ecstatic too. We're gonna try different things in some of our news segments, and I'm gonna throw up on just live action camera, and it's gonna be stop and go
I
footage.
don't know if you should promise that.
Just puking. Well, then don't bring any of your gross stuff for me to try. You had me eat that plant when we were filming that day, and
Oh,
it
man.
made my mouth.
Heaven forbid a
plants
plant.
is
No, it made my mouth itchy. Like my
it was stinging.
throat
It was
started
stinging
itchy.
nettle.
What is this, lettuce?
No, stinging nettle, James. Have you ever eaten
Romaine?
I have a backyard full of that if you want
It's
to.
delicious.
that? Stinging nettle?
I'll harvest it.
Yeah, that sounds. It just made my whole throat itchy from like back to front. I didn't like it at all. Okay, so
I mean, you're supposed to cook it, but we
There's a
didn't.
reason like animals don't even eat that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay. So moving right along here, I love Telltale video games. I am a casual gamer. I'm not
How dare you.
obsessed by any stretch of the imagination. The only two things that really have my attention at any consistent time is Kim Kardashian and Clash of Clans. So when this was told to me by one James Yo, I was ecstatic because The Walking Dead, or you can actually find this article at IGN.com, written by the great Mona Aid. And so The Walking Dead has released a new episode update coming out February 23rd, and it's the Michonne release. So
It's like a spin-off following
Yeah.
Michonne,
So if
who's
you-
a character from the show, and I think the comic as well.
and if you played The Walking Dead at all, the video game is very good. Is very, very,
Can you actually play a
very
Telltale game?
enjoyable. And so, so I knew that this was going to be a bit of a debate because I love these choose your own adventure games. I think it's incredible. And so just really quickly, I want to hear why you don't think Telltale Games are
Because you
actual
don't
video
really
games.
choose your own adventure. I mean, mostly. It's pretty like structured. You mash the buttons every once in a while, and that's about it.
They're
Okay.
Okay, so my counterpoint here is they're no more structured than like a 2D platformer, right? 2D platformer, except for some exceptional ones, you're going from left to right. You're always going to the exact same destination, right? You're following the path that's been beaten for you by the developers. This is similar, but
But we left 2D. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us left 2D platformers behind like 20 years ago.
but they're also considered great video games, right? People
Well,
think
for
of
their
Mega
time.
Man. I think there's a lot of great, like Shovel Knight's a recent release. That's great. That's excellent. I see. His colors are coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like 2D platformers.
Fire away, man.
But I mean, they were cool when I was a kid.
So
but,
it's not a good. It's not fun. It's not a good game.
But yeah, just to Telltale, it's.
But doesn't this Walking Dead have like several, like dozens of different endings that you can choose from based on like what actions and things that you do that are
There's
not
some
quite
significant
repeatable?
changes to the ending based on your decision making. The first season is going to end the way it ends. These games are based on seasons. It's going to end the way it ends, but some of the who's involved in that ending and what the tone of that ending is changes on some decisions. The second season diverts a lot more. There's 4 very significant different endings, and then there's smaller nuances too that can be put in there based on decision.
I think I've just gotten too spoiled with sandbox games.
Well, that's
Sure,
true.
like the game never ends, right? That's my
You
problem
just
with
go anywhere you want.
with
and do
these.
anything
Like,
you
these
want.
games aren't very long, right? A couple hours.
Yeah.
No, well, no, they tend to be 5 episodes. Each episode is a few hours, 2 to 3.
But they don't come out. 5 doesn't come out at once. They come out
like once a month
once a month. That's
for a
something
season.
I remember when Half-Life, between Half-Life 1 and 2 was like
5 years.
no.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yeah, I think so. No,
Confirmed for never.
they released.
I get
You heard it here first. No.
Yeah, I wish we had that breaking news.
No, they were like 2-hour little mini, like 2-hour chunks of Half-Life 1.5 or before Half-Life 2 came out, and I remember being
There's
so
a few
excited,
episodes, yeah.
and it entered me into the Half-Life world again, where I'm knocking off facesuckers or whatever they were called, but then it just was over in like so soon, and it was so frustrating because you really wanted to experience the way the first game was, where it could have been 10, 12 hours,
Yeah.
and then just gives you a taste of it, which makes sense marketing wise because you can just keep people waiting and every month release a new one. But in contrast to a sandbox game where essentially you can play as long as you want.
Yeah, I have friends who are still finding new dumb things to do in Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
Sure.
And it's been out, 2 years now, almost, something like that?
Now,
So I think 2 different kinds of people would like.
Yeah.
what happened with Half-Life, though, is Steam, right? So Valve, who makes
Right,
Half-Life, made Steam, which is a video game aggregate
Marketplace.
marketplace, and it makes such a ridiculous amount of money that Valve never has to do anything ever again. And so I just don't think Valve's got the passion to continue Half-Life.
Right.
And so that's the problem there. Well, if you play one of these Telltale games, it's more like Choose Your Own Adventure is really a good way of putting it. It's they're 3D graphics. You're watching a lot of things happen in front of you. You have to make it. It's sometimes somebody, Greg Miller at Kinda Funny, calls it a conversation simulator, where you're having to. The real point of the game is making decisions and choosing what to say, and every once in a while making a critical decision that changes the story. But my favorite thing about those games is not really the single player aspect, but when Josh and I play them, and anybody else who wants to play with us, we play as a group. We all get in on the couches around one television, and we debate and argue over the decisions we're making.
Yeah, but we do have a very specific strategy that we use to play, and so that kind of makes it more fun because we always have
shoot the most people or something.
something like that, right? Where you choose from the beginning, like, all right, we're going to commit this
The worst
character
decisions
to
ever.
this character
Right.
to
Okay.
that, and we're
Okay.
always
Right.
going to make sure.
We're gonna make sure this character like burns all bridges. We're gonna make sure this character
Just to see what
is
happens.
a saint no matter what.
But you're only playing the game once at a time, one run through at a time.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Now you're gonna have to
So-
play with us the next.
No, I mean I like
character.
that. I like that idea. I really miss the fact that there's very few multiplayer games. It sounds like what we do now is just play a single player game with a bunch of people watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're doing. So the question remains, is Telltale and their brand a legitimate form of video games? If you have any decisions or any thoughts that you want to weigh in, feel free to leave them in the comments.
Please tell us how Chris Carmen is wrong.
YouTube. And,
And I'll keep telling you how you can do all that stuff and more in other games.
So also feel free to follow us on facebook.com/faith and whatever. I can be found at Josh _Carmen on Twitter, Garrett at @TStudentLife, and James Yule at James YUILE on. So follow us there. We'd love to connect with you.